We will start from page 14. They may contemplate impermanence and suffering. Namo fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. The Ansaka's profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of eons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning. Flower Adornment Sutra, Worthy Leader, Chapter 12. They may contemplate impermanence and suffering, or lack of self and lifespan is their path, perhaps pursuing purity and leaving all desire, or samadhi through cessation is their choice. Based on beings' different types of illnesses, Bodhisattvas met them all with Dharma cures. Based on beings' wishful thinking and delights, Bodhisattvas grant their wishes with great skill. In accord with beings' various endeavors, Bodhisattvas grant success through wholesome means. These tangible results of their samadhi, their state of being, no cause of humans understand. Abiding in accord enjoy samadhi, Bodhisattvas see all things in every place. In accord with what is fitting, they save beings who are happy then to cultivate their Dharma. In times of famine and disasters, they give delightful gifts to all the world. No matter what the wish is, they fulfill it, bringing benefit to every living creature. They may give gifts of tasty food and drink, or fine clothing, ornaments, or tools. They'll even give up a royal position to inspire others to be generous as well. Perhaps they manifest in handsome bodies, wearing splendid clothes bedecked with jewels and adorned with fragrant flower garlands. With their perfect bearing, rescue living beings. For those who find nobility appealing and admire perfection in the human form, the Bodhisattvas manifest accordingly to please them, so they move to choose the way, like the sweet song of the Galapinga bird, the wondrous voices of the Kokila and others, and the mesmerizing patterns of pure Brahma sounds are Bodhisattvas' voices when they speak the Dharma. The Dharma offers thousands of good methods, which Buddhas use to liberate us all. Each method is most carefully selected to meet the needs of all the different beings. In all our pains and joys, our good and bad times, and all the many trials we undergo, Bodhisattvas act as colleagues and companions, teaching and transforming everyone. The myriad woes and troubles of the world are like the boundless ocean, vast and deep. But we can bear it all when Bodhisattvas work beside us and restore our peace and joy. For those who do not know the method of escape and don't seek liberation from confusion, Bodhisattvas show how all can be renounced by leaving home and gaining peace of mind. The household lives bound up with greed and craving. Bodhisattvas show the way to liberation. Having left the home life, they gain freedom and are no longer tempted by desire. Bodhisattvas use all of the 10 practices. They cultivate the dharmas of great sages and learn every single method of the rishi. All this is done to help our living beings. For those whose lifespans have no end, who have abundant pleasure and few troubles, the Bodhisattvas skillfully remind them that old age, sickness, and cessation still exist.
Those who are possessed by great anger and confusion, who feel the raging fires of these afflictions,
the Bodhisattvas remind them of mortality to help them overcome their base emotions. The Tathagata's 10 powers, fearless methods, and 18 dharmas unique to Buddhas only, all generate a virtue that is boundless, whose purpose is to rescue sentient beings. Predictions, admonitions, and access to the source are all functions Buddhas wield with expert ease. The noble knights share all these ways as well. Both use these skills for taming and subduing. Bodhisattvas use many skillful methods, matching them to what each person needs. Just like lotuses that rise above the water, they inspire faith that soars as high as in heaven. They may be brilliant thinkers or writers unsurpassed, dancers of great elegance or poets of renown. They are like magicians, and with their great skill in arts, there is nothing in the world that they cannot conjure up. As elders, they may serve as governors or magistrates, or give wise and useful counsel to the merchants of the town. Some may serve as kings of countries or ministers of state, while others serve as doctors, giving medicine to all. Bodhisattvas may appear as giant trees within the forest. Others manifest as herbs with beneficial qualities. Some may take the form of precious, wishful, fulfilling pearls. Whatever form they take is just to guide us in the way. If Bodhisattvas see a world thus just coming into being, whose inhabitants are lacking in the basic needs of life, the Bodhisattvas will appear there as skilled and seasoned craftsmen who've come to show those folks just how the jobs are done. They will never use their powers to oppress or dominate. All they care about is how to benefit the world. With their treasuries of mantras, medicines, and wisdom, they give detailed descriptions of the uses of them all. The Rishi master practices of enormous difficulty, and for these feats receive the admiration of the masses. Yet all these bitter deeds, so arduous and challenging, can be done by bodhisattvas when appropriate needs arise. Bodhisattvas may be renunciates of other ways. They may undertake austerities alone in mountain forests, or remove all of their clothing and roam naked in the world. Their only goal in doing this is teaching and transforming. They may make their living performing deviant deeds, practicing non-dharmas and thinking them supreme, or they may display the style of a Brahmin cultivator. In all these ways they serve as leaders of those groups.
Perhaps they bear 5 kinds of heat and stay out in the sun, or
closely follow practices of cows or dogs or deer. Some may dress in rags, while others worship fire. In every case, their only aims to teach and to transform. Some may worship gods in one temple or another. Some sink in the Ganges without struggling for breath. Others dine austerely, eating only roots or fruit. They only want to show what supreme dharmas are. Some are squatting, some on tiptoes. Others lie on thorns or embers. Some recline on sharpened stakes. With these methods they teach others. No matter what the outside path, bodhisattvas use their strength to undergo most bitter practice, showing others to the way. Deluded ones who can see clearly immerse themselves in evil ways. Upon hearing Dharma from the sages, they can understand the actual truth. The 4 truths can be chanted as a mantra or communicated in a secret code. They also can be spoken quite directly, or they may be sung in secret by the gods. The 4 truths can be heard in many tongues. The 4 truths principles are absolute. The 4 truths can annihilate conjectures. The 4 truths can be refuted by outsiders. The 4 truths are understood by 8 divisions. The 4 truths can be explained in any terms, using any sign or symbol that beings understand. Once understood, they will lead to liberation. This principle applies to all dharmas of the Buddhas. Each of them can be expressed in endless ways. The transcendent skill of knowing which to use is the power of the speaking Dharma Samadhi. The peace and joy Samadhi has a wondrous scope indeed. Those who have achieved it rescue beings everywhere. The brilliant light it radiates has a remarkable effect. It calms the minds of everyone who comes within its range. This radiating light is called a wholesome sign. Beings who encounter it are infinitely blessed. Each of them will benefit in ways beyond imagining. The light will bring each one of them to wisdom unsurpassed. Every single Buddha is revealed in this great light. Avatamsaka and the way all appear as well. Buddha images and stupas without number are displayed. The triple jewels made manifest within this radiant light. And thus not all, another light called glorious radiance outshines all celestial lights within the universe. It dispels the deepest darkness with no shadows left behind, bringing all pervasive benefits to every living being. Bathed in this wondrous light, all beings can awaken, inspiring them to carry lamps to offer to the Buddhas. Because they make these offerings sincerely to the Buddhas, they themselves can realize the wisdom unsurpassed. Offering lights of many kinds such as lamps of oil or butter, or fashioning bright torches made of straw or wood, or making gifts of incense, herbs, and precious candles. All these offerings to the Buddhas will create the donor's light. Thus karmas also radiate a light called rescuing. This light awakens living beings who, once saved, are moved to make great vows to rescue suffering multitudes. Those who make a vow to save, those drowning in desire's great sea, will transcend the raging torrents and lead all to liberation. When flooding blocks the roads and footpaths, those who help by building bridges, and those who praise jhanas come, will be suffused with radiant light. Another light called ending craving can also wake up sentient beings so that they leave desires behind. Thus freed they savor liberation. Those who renounce the five desires and taste the fruit of liberation can, with the Buddha's sweet dew rain, quench all the thirst and craving in the world, restoring fountains, pools, and wells, and seeking only Bodhi's path, while seeing through the five desires, will make us worthy of this light. Another light restoring bliss can also wake up sentient beings, who then yearning for true Bodhi, seek it without a teacher's guide.
When characteristics of
creating statues of the Buddhas, revealing them adorned with hallmarks seated on their lotus thrones, along with offering endless praises of their virtue most supreme. Those who do these things will surely find themselves suffused with light. There is another light that is called euphoric joy. It causes living beings to awaken from their stupor. Once awakened, they will always joyfully regard the Buddhas and cheerfully rejoice in the Dharma and the Sangha. When beings always joyfully contemplate the Buddhas and cheerfully rejoice in the Dharma and the Sangha, they can join the congregations of orthodox karmas, and with all dharmas soon achieve a patience most profound. Bodhisattvas can enlighten living beings without end, urging on them mindfulness of the Triple Jewel, teaching them to always act with righteousness and virtue. As a result, the Bodhisattvas are bathed in radiant light. There is another light called cumulative blessings. This is a light that is also can awaken sentient beings. Once awake, they vow to practice many kinds of giving. This vow of generosity is a means to reach the way. In a philanthropic gathering, giving has no limits. Everyone who seeks will find their wishes are fulfilled. There is no fear that anyone will leave unsatisfied, and every single donor will be bathed in radiant light. They also radiate a light called comprehensive wisdom. This light can cause every living being to wake up, so that in a single thought from one specific Dharma, they completely comprehend all the wondrous Dharma doors. With this comprehensive wisdom light, they analyze all dharmas, decisively explaining their true and actual meanings. Their proficient explanations of all these dharmas' functions earn everyone a chance to be suffused with this great light. They radiate another light known as lamp of wisdom. This light also can awaken sentient beings. It lets us know our nature is empty and at peace, and that there is not a single dharma with any actual substance. Understanding that all dharmas are not real, but are like the moon's reflections in upon,
like
fleeting dreams, illusions, or mirages. The Bodhisattvas gain this wondrous light. Another light is called sweet dharmas. This light can also awaken living beings, who then attain innumerable dharamis, which contain all the wondrous Buddha Dharma. Those who uphold, revere, and offer to the Dharma, and are mindful and protective of the sages, proclaiming Dharma for all kinds of living creatures, will be rewarded by attainment of this light. There is another light called generosity, which awakens living beings who are stingy to the fact that wealth and property don't last. As a result, they found it easy to be generous, though overcoming stinginess is difficult. Those who do see that wealth is like a dream, their minds grow purer as they get more generous, and that allows them to be bathed in this great light. Another light is called dispelling heat. It awakens those who have not followed the rules, thus allowing them to keep the precepts purely and be successful on the path to Buddhahood. They guide others to receive and hold the precepts, to live purely and to do 10 wholesome deeds, inspiring them to make resolve for Bodhi. They themselves become suffused with this great light. Another light, thus called enhanced by patience, awakens those who struggle with their rage, relinquishing their arrogance and anger. Patient dharmas bring them peace and joy. When faced with others who attack them cruelly, they sustain unmoved their strong resolve for Bodhi. The merit that accrues from all their patience causes them to be suffused with this great light.
There is another light that is called courageous,
awakening the slothful and the lazy, so they never fail to find the triple jewel, and then pay homage and make offerings. Since they never fail to find the triple jewel, and constantly pay homage and make offerings, they can escape the 4 demonic states and quickly reach the Buddha's supreme Bodhi by urging everyone to make good progress, to be diligent in giving to the triple jewel, and ensuring the survival of the Dharma. The doers of these deeds are bathed in light. Another radiant light is named tranquility. It wakes up those with minds that get distracted, with delusion, greed, and anger left behind. Their minds remain unmoving in samadhi. They refuse to learn from any evil teachers whose messages promote immortal acts. Instead, they praise the stillness of samadhi, and thus they are suffused with this great light. Another light is called adorned with wisdom. It awakens the dull-witted and confused, so they fathom how conditions come to be, and their faculties can function interchangeably. Since they fathom how conditions come to be, and their faculties can function interchangeably, they are masters of the sun and lamps of samadhi, and their wisdom brings them straight to Buddhahood, no longer clinging to external things. Their only care is for the proper Dharma. Once that is learned, they share it with the multitudes, and for these reasons radiate this light. Another light called wisdom of the Buddhas can awaken every sort of living creature, who then can see an endless stream of Buddhas seated on exquisite lotus blooms. They praise the Buddha's path of liberation,
their virtue and
their awesome cultivation, describing all their powers and abilities. They deserve to be suffused with this fine light. Another radiant light named fearlessness shines on the timid and the frightened, and on cruel creatures trying to harm others, thus dispelling terrors of all kinds, bestowing fearlessness on sentient beings, exhorting those who harm to cease such actions, supporting all who suffer any hardships. The doer of these deeds is bathed in light. There is another light called peace and quiet, which shines a healing brightness on the sick, alleviating all their pain and suffering, so they can know the bliss of true samadhi. They give out medicines that cure disease, elixirs for long life and oils that soothe, as well as foods that nourish, honey, milk, and ghee. For these good deeds they are bathed in this fine light. Another light is called seeing the Buddhas. This light enlightens those on the verge of death, so that they can stay mindful of the Buddhas. And when life ends are born into a pure land, we should urge the dying to be mindful of the Buddhas and show them honor forms to look upon. By thus inspiring in them reverence for the Buddhas, we ensure they can be bathed in this great light. Another light called fondness for the Dharma provides a glow that guides all living beings to find in proper teaching such delight that on listening they remember and proclaim them. In their Dharma ending age they speak the teachings, bringing joy to those who seek the Dharma, who gladly start to practice what they learn, and thereby will be bathed in this great light. Another light is called the wondrous sound. It begins with awakening all the bodhisattvas. It transforms sounds throughout the triple realm, so those who hear it hear the thus come ones. They praise the Buddha with majestic voices. These generous gifts of music, chimes, and bells allow the world to hear about the Buddhas and ensures that they are bathed in this great light. A light thus called bestowal of sweet dew effectively arouses every being, who then abandoning their laxity and laziness take up habits steeped in merit and in virtue. They say conditioned dharmas are not peaceful, but are filled with endless suffering and pain. Instead, they praise the bliss, Christ, and springs, and therefore they are based in this great light. Another light is called the most supreme. It awakens all the kinds of living creatures, who then go where they can hear the Buddha's teaching and learn of precepts and of wisdom and samadhi. They delight in praising every single Buddha and their embodiment of every perfect practice. This propels them on the way thus unsurpassed, and therefore they are based in this great light. Another light is called adorned with jewels.
This light awakens those of whom being confused, who then discover endless gems and treasures, which they can give as offerings to the Buddhas. They offer up all kinds of sparkling gems in reference to the Buddhas and their stupas.
They are generous and kind to those in need, and that is why they are based in this great light. Another light is called adorned with incense. It awakens those who are not yet awake. They gain pleasure by inhaling these aromas and resolve upon the path to Buddhahood. The rite of spreading incense on the ground is an offering to the most victorious Lords. Those forming Buddha's figures from this paste deserve to be suffused with this great light. Another light, thus called diverse adornments, comprises precious banners, flags, and canopies, burning incense, scattered flowers, and pure music that filled the towns and spread across the land. When the musical performances are perfect, and the clouds of flowers, canopies, and banners, and other gifts are offered to the Buddhas, the ones responsible are filled with this great light. Another light, thus called austere and pure, can make the earth as level as one's palm. By building and adorning stupas there, one is able to attain this radiant light. Another light, thus called gigantic cloud, pours forth copious streams of fragrant rain that washes clean the stupas and monastic grounds, and that is why this light is shining there. Another light, thus called essential tools, enables the unclothed to find good garments. Giving gifts like these to those who lack them results in the attainment of this light. Another light, thus called delicious flavors, provides the starving with fine food to eat. When they in turn provide good food to others, they become suffused with this great light. Another light, thus called enormous wealth, gives riches to the desperate and the poor, who then in turn are generous to the triple jewel, and therefore they are bathed in this great light. Another light, called purity of vision, enables those who are blind to see again. They then make great gifts or lends to all the Buddhas, and therefore they are bathed in this great light. There is another light, thus called purity of the ears. It confers keen hearing upon those who once were deaf. By performing music for the Buddhas and their stupas, one can come to be suffused with this radiant light. Another light, thus called purification of the nose, confers the sense of smell on those bereft of it. Those giving fragrant incense to the Buddhas and their stupas will come to be suffused with this radiant light.
Another light that is called purification of the tongue
enables one to pour forth eloquent praises of the Buddhas. It also can eliminate all coarse, unwholesome speech, ensuring those thus purified are bathed in this great light. Another light, thus called purification of the body, makes those with damaged faculties become complete again. By bowing with great reverence to the Buddhas and their stupas, one will become suffused with this pure and radiant light. Another light, thus called purification of the mind, helps the mentally unfit regain their faculties. Developing samadhi, they maintain their self-control and thereby earn the right to be bathed with this great light. Namo Sambandho Mothana Apalati Hatacha Chanani Jimi Tata Katana Mowa Santin Polati Uttamo Tamo Tata Katana Mowa Hampasa Namo Sambandho Mothana Apalati Hatacha Chanani Jimi Tata Katana Mowa Santin Polati Uttamo Tamo Tata Katana Mowa Hampasa Namo Sambandho Mothana Apalati Hatacha Antakatana Mawa Shanti Baladi Utan Utan Antakatana Mawa Hongpa Soha. Praise for the second assembly. In the universal bright light palace, that the great Dharma is widely proclaimed, that the Tathagata's names are vast and boundless, the meanings of the four truths are subtle and profound, the Dharma torch eternally shines, a universal offering before the Dharma King. We will prepare to do the Avatamsaka ceremony.
Please.
The set one, it will go through the syllables a, a, I, u, r, dr, a, I, o, r. So these are the syllables we will go through. Ah We will do a special dedication. We dedicate the merit to the successful completion of the Wonderful Enlightenment Buddhist Institute construction project. I think we will conclude because we just need the transference. 3 bows. recite to the Venerable Master. Nam mô Ta Phang Quang Phổ Hoa Yên Chỉ Hoa Yên Hải Vị Phổ菩萨
We're going to continue with the Flower Dharma Sutra, a Worthy Leader, chapter 12. First of all, we're going to do 3 vows. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, profound, and wonderful Dharma is difficulty encountering hundreds of millions of eons. I now see it, hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning. Flower Dharma Sutra, Worthy Leader, Chapter 12. Another light that's called purification of the form enables one to see the perfect features of the Buddhas by using vibrant finery to adorn the Buddha's stupas. One thereby has the right to be bathed in this great light. Another light that's called purification of the sound helps us understand the basic emptiness of sound, that it arises from conditions like the echoes in the valley. When we understand this principle, we'll be bathed in this great light. Another light that's called purification of the odors can turn all putrid stench into pristine fragrances by using fragrant water to cleanse Bodhi trees and stupas. One has the right to be suffused with this great radiant light. Another light that's called purification of the flavors dispels toxins or contagions that may be found in food. Generous offerings to the Buddhas, the Sangha, and one's parents earn us the right to be suffused with this great radiant light. They also radiate light called purity or torch, which can cause unwholesome thought. Unwholesome touch to become gentle. Spears and swords and halberds falling from the skies like rain, all turning into beautiful flower garlands.
As in the past on the roadways,
They smear the incense, scatter the flowers, and spread out garments to welcome and escort the Vaska one as he treads upon them. Therefore they now attain light such as this. They also radiate light called purity or Dharma, which causes each and every pore to proclaim the wonderful Dharma hard to conceive of, so that sentient beings upon hearing it rejoice and awaken. That born from conditions is unproduced. The Dharma body of the Buddha is not a body. The Dharma nature is eternally like empty space. Explaining such meanings, one attains life like this. Portals or light such as given in these analogies, infinite in number like the sands of the Ganges River, all stream forth from the pores of the great immortals, each and every one different in its function, just as the light emanating from one pore is limitless and immeasurable. immeasurable like the Ganges sands. All paths are also the same. This is due to the great immortal's power of samadhi.
As a result of their past
practices, they attain light based on past affinities. Their fellow practitioners can thus perceive the lights they radiate now. This is due to the great immortal's wisdom and self-mastery. Cultivating these blessings along with the Buddha in the past, or admiring and rejoicing in his practice, or simply witnessing what he did, one is able to see this light. If there are those who on their own cultivate a multitude of blessings, making offerings to countless Buddhas and constantly vowing to seek the Buddha's merit and virtue, they will be enlightened by this light. The congenitally blind and cannot ever see the sun, although the sun is always there shining in the sky. Those with sight can see the sun as they do their work. Every day planting seeds that bring them karmic blessings. The light of all the sages is just like the sun's great light. Those with wisdom see it with unhindered clarity. But those who lack true insight or have no understanding cannot see this radiant light that fills the universe. Palaces and palanquins adorned with precious jewels and many other wondrous and rare embellishments are readily available to the virtuous and blessed, but those who have no virtue will never have these things. Like these wondrous things, their light is always shining throughout the universe, and is easily perceived by the wise and virtuous. But stupid ones who've lost their way will never see this light. People may have different thoughts on what this light is like. But when the light inspires in us deep faith and understanding, it enables us to cut right through the tangled nets of doubts and right away attain the supreme fruit of Buddhahood. When from within samadhi the radiant light appears, its rays extend surrounding all our retinues with ease. In every single land throughout 10,000 worlds, there is nothing to compare with the assemblies of the Buddhas. There's a wondrous lotus bloom adorned with radiant light, a blossom large enough to fill the universe. The sage who sits upon the flower covers his entirety due to the awesome power of this spiritual samadhi. Surrounding this great lotus bloom in all of its perfection are lotuses as numerous as decimals in 10 Buddha lands. Each holds a sage who seated there with pure and calm demeanor, abiding in the awesome power of this great samadhi. Past causes and conditions come to fruition now from cultivating merely virtue like the Buddhas. The beings who have done this now surround the Bodhisattvas. Gazing on them tirelessly, they join their palms in reverence. Just as the moon shines brightly among the countless stars, the Bodhisattvas dwell amidst the sea-vast multitudes. The Dharma these laws of practice is so all-powerful.
It immediately enables
them to enter the samadhi. The specular appearance of that great assembly of holy sage encircled by his reverend disciples is repeated everywhere throughout the 10 directions of the Bodhisattvas dwell in a powerful samadhi. Within a great samadhi called reverberating net, Bodhisattvas constantly deliver Dharma teachings, manifesting bodies that are seen in every place and moving freely in and out of this supreme samadhi. Bodhisattvas may enter samadhi in the east only to exit that samadhi in the west, or some may enter proper samadhi in the west and yet may come out of that samadhi in the east. Great sages may enter samadhi going one way, but leave that samadhi an entirely different way. Throughout the 10 directions they can come and go like this. This describes the Bodhisattva's power in samadhis. Every single land within the eastern region is a place that holds thus come ones without number. In those lands the Bodhisattvas can be seen by all, while yet remaining still and unmoving samadhi. At the same time, in the worlds of the Western region, in every single place where Buddhas can be found, these Bodhisattvas come out of the samadhis in order to give offerings to the triple jewel.
Every single land within the Western region is a blessed place where countless Buddhas dwell.
These Bodhisattvas appear before them all, while yet remaining still and unmoving in samadhi. At the same time, in the worlds of the Eastern region, in every single place where Buddhas can be found, these Bodhisattvas come out of their samadhis
To give offerings to the triple jewel.
just like this in all the worlds within the 10 directions. Bodhisattvas will appear in every single one. They may display unmoving stillness in samadhi, or reverently make offerings to the triple jewel. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through the eye, but may exist as samadhi in the midst of forms, thus revealing all the wonder of the realm of form. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi in the midst of forms, and leave samadhi through the body.
To the others. And remaining undisturbed, they understand the eyes neither arise nor cease to be. They have no nature, they do nothing, and they fade away.
Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through their ears, then exit their samadhi in the midst of sounds, while able to distinguish every syllable and word. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi in the midst of sounds, and leave samadhi through the ears, remaining undisturbed. They understand the ears neither arise nor cease to be. They have no nature, they do nothing, and they fade away. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through the nose, and leave that samadhi in the midst of smells, while inhaling every wondrous fragrance that exists. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through aromas, and leave samadhi through the nose, remaining undisturbed. They understand the nose does not arise or cease to be. It has no nature, it does nothing, and it fades away. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through the tongue, and leave that samadhi in the midst of taste, while perceiving every wondrous flavor that exists. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through all flavors, and leave samadhi through the tongue, remaining undisturbed. They understand the tongue does not arise or cease to be. It has no nature, it does nothing, and it fades away. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through the body, and leave that samadhi in tactile sensations, while clearly distinguishing every thought or touch. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through sensation, and leave samadhi through the body, always undisturbed. They understand the body does not arise or cease to be. It has no nature, it does nothing, and it fades away. And leave the samadhi in objects of cognition, while clearly distinguishing every mental construct. Neither people nor the gods can ever fathom this. Some Bodhisattvas find samadhi through objects of cognition, and leave samadhi through the mind, always undisturbed. They understand the mind does not arise or cease to be. It has no nature, it does nothing, and it fades away. Bodhisattvas may enter samadhi as a youth, and then exist that samadhi as a person in their prime. Or they may enter samadhi as a person in their prime, and then exist as samadhi as a venerable elder. Bodhisattvas may enter samadhi as an elder, and then exist as samadhi as a woman of great virtue. Or enter samadhi as a woman of great virtue, then come out of samadhi in the body of a man. Bodhisattvas may enter samadhi as a man, and then exist as samadhi as a diligent bhikshuni. Or enter samadhi as a diligent bhikshuni, then come out of samadhi in the body of a bhikshu. Bodhisattvas may enter samadhi as a bhikshu, then and then exit that samadhi as any level or heart, or enter samadhi as any level or heart, then come out of the samadhi as a Prajeka Buddha. They may enter samadhi as a Prajeka Buddha, and then exit the samadhi as a holy Tathagata, or they may begin samadhi as a holy Tathagata, and then exit the samadhi in the body of a god. They may enter samadhi in the body of a god, and exit the samadhi as a lofty dragon king.
Or they may enter samadhi as a lofty dragon king, and exit the samadhi in the body of a yaksha.
They may enter samadhi in the body of yaksha, and exit the samadhi as some form of ghost or spirit. Or they may enter samadhi as some form of ghost or spirit, and exit the samadhi in a single hair pore. They may enter samadhi in a single hair pore, and exit the samadhi in each and every pore. Or they enter samadhi in each and every pore, and exit the samadhi on the tip of just one hair. They may enter samadhi on the tip of just one hair, and exit the samadhi in a single mote of dust. Or they enter samadhi in a single mote of dust, and exit the samadhi in each and every mote of dust. They may come into samadhi in every mote of dust, and then exit the samadhi upon the Vajra ground. Or they come into samadhi upon the Vajra ground, and exit the samadhi on top of Mani tree. They may enter samadhi on top of Mani tree, and exit the samadhi within the Buddha's lies. Or they enter the samadhi within the Buddha's lies, and they then exist the samadhi in the river or a sea. They may enter the samadhi in the river or a sea, and exit that samadhi in the element of fire. Or enter samadhi in the element of fire, they leave samadhi in the wind, remaining undisturbed. They may enter the samadhi in the element of wind, and exist the samadhi in the element of earth. Or enter samadhi in the element of earth, they exist the samadhi in a celestial palace. Or they enter the samadhi in a celestial palace, and depart from it in emptiness, remaining undisturbed.
These bodhisattvas have exceptional samadhi, great virtue, great merit, and self-mastery as well. All the Tathagatas throughout the 10 directions
could tell them for endless years and never ever finish. All the Tathagatas together speak of this. Beings' karmic reckonings are hard to understand, just as dragons' transformations and the Buddha's skillful ease and Bodhisattva's powers are hard to fathom too. There are no words that can describe these states that have no peer, and knowledges are useless in revealing all their wonder. Even so, the wise who have a keen intelligence can understand their meaning by means of metaphor. Hearers' minds are clearly focused on 8 liberations. Every sort of transformation comes to them with ease. Manifesting many bodies from a single one, they just as easily transform back into just one body. They can enter 5 samadhi while suspended in the air, where they can also walk or stand or lie down comfortably, spraying water to the sky and spreading fire below, or sending fire into the heavens and water down below. All these powers manifest within a single thought, born of years of practice and diligent resolve. In spite of all these powers, here is what they lack: a spiritual compassion to bring all to Buddhahood. And yet, if they can manifest these states beyond compare, imagine what vast powers come with great resolve of Bodhi. Consider how as sun and moon move across the sky, the reflections will appear throughout the 10 directions. In rivers, oceans, springs, and pools, and even bowls of water, their reflections can be seen in all of these locations.
The Bodhisattva's forms are like that too, appearing everywhere throughout the 10 directions. Their self-mastery and samadhi make this happen, which only the skilled ones can understand. This is also how 4 types of armies are reflected in clear water, each distinct. As are the swords and halberds, bows and arrows. armor, helmets, chariots, and carts of many kinds.
Everything that happens by is reflected clearly. Images of all of them appear there in the water, but the water in itself makes no discrimination. The samadhis of bodhisattvas are like that as well. There is a spirit in the sea whose name is skilled with sound, who understands the languages of every living creatures. When every word is comprehended by the skillful spirit, it causes every creature to be filled with great delight. In spite of this ability to recognize all speech, this spirit still is troubled by greed, anger, and delusion. Imagine then how those who have achieved self-mastery can never fail to bring great joy to all the multitudes. Consider well the gentlewoman named Great Eloquence, whose birth was in response to her parents' faithful prayers. She will help good people who venerate the truth to uncover and to use their own amazing eloquence. In spite of her ability to give great eloquence, this woman still is troubled by greed, anger, and delusion. Imagine then what bodhisattvas with their perfection wisdom can do to bring great benefits to every living being. A skilled magician can create most wonderful illusions and conjure all sorts of things to please his eager viewers. He will make a moment seem like days, or even months or years, or beguile us with illusions of great wealth and happiness. In spite of his ability to please his audience, this wizard still is troubled by great anger and delusion. Imagine how those strong in liberations and samadhi can consistently bring joyfulness to every living being. Battles rage between the gods and heavenly asuras. When defeated, the asuras must abandon their position. In order to protect their weapons, chariots, and soldiers, they make everything invisible and nothing can be seen.
Although these skilled asuras can transform themselves at will, they are still impeded by delusion, greed, and anger. Imagine bodhisattvas who abide in fearless dharma. The skill of their self-mastery is even more amazing.
A king who serves Lord Chakra is a mighty elephant who knows exactly at what time his lord may wish to travel. It then is able to create by Paulson's transformation 32 heads which are adorned with 6 tusks each. Each of these 6 tusks supports 7 limpid pools, and each is filled completely with pure and fragrant water. Each of these exquisite pools is a container for 7 lotus blossoms, each unique in its perfection. Each exquisite lotus bloom yields a seat for 7 maidens from the heavens fair as jade, who play music for Lord Chakra. The elephant may change its form to become just like the gods, identical in every way. That's how vast his powers are. In spite of this ability to make these transformations, this elephant is still troubled by greed, anger, and delusion. Imagine then how those who have achieved self-mastery can freely enter all samadhis equally at ease. A powerful ashura has a transformation body which sets its feet to rest upon the ocean's rock-hard floor, and yet the fearsome ocean waves a lap only at its waist, while its head is even with Masru's lofty peak. In spite of its ability to make these transformations, the ashura is still troubled by greed, anger, and delusion. Imagine then how those who serve as lamps unto the world retain their awesome mastery and spiritual skills. When there is a war between the gods and the asuras, the powers that Lord Chakra wields are inconceivable. For every single soldier filled by the Asura king, he can manifest a body to match up to and defeat them.
As they face this challenge, the asuras share this thought. This offensive by Lord Chakra surely will defeat us. He will strip us of our powers, leaving us defenseless. The prospect of this conquest leaves them anxious and distressed. Lord Chakra's body
suddenly displays 1,000 eyes. His mighty hand is is brandishing a flaming Vajra pestle. His appearance is majestic as he wields his fearsome weapons. At the very sight of him, Asuras all surrender. Although Lord Chakra's blessings and his virtue are quite weak, he still has the ability to decimate his foes. Imagine how the skillful ones who rescue all the masses with their merit, their virtue never fail to be at ease. In the stranger's heaven sits a wondrous unseen drum, which comes into existence from the karma of the gods. When gatherings of gods grow less, the drum reverberates, reminding the assembly to behave in proper ways. The 5 desires are transitory, is the drum's refrain. Like an ocean's foamy bubbles which rise up and disappear, all that exists is nothing more than fragments of a dream, like drifting clouds or shimmers of the moon seen in a pond. The drum says laxness is an enemy, a serious affliction. Unlike the blissful sweet way, it leads to birth and death. If you remain indulgent and lax in your behavior, you will end up in the mouth of the great big fish of death. Of all the world's great sufferings, the drum goes on to say, above all else and 5 desires are what the sages love. The reason is that they destroy all merit and all virtue. You should find delight instead in cherishing the Dharma.
When they hear these messages, the transcription gods assemble all together in Lord Chakra's Dharma hall. Lord Chakra there explains for them the all-inspiring Dharma, and as it comes and settles them, they cast out greed and craving.
These sounds were all produced by a drum that had no form, yet still they were all service to the gods in the assembly. Imagine then how those who can create all forms at will could never fail to bring about the rescue of all beings. When the gods and the Asuras are about to start a fight, the blessings and the virtue of the gods come to the fore. The celestial drum resounds with an encouraging announcement. Be resolute in battle, gods, for you are sure to win. When this message of encouragement is heard by all the gods, they cast down all their fear and prepare to enter battle. But the hearts of the Asuras are now filled with trepidation, and every single soldier quickly leaves the battlefield. The samadhi known as Sweetu is like that wondrous drum, producing peaceful sounds that overpower every demon. In the peace of that samadhi, compassion rescues us all. As it helps all living creatures bring an end to their afflictions, Lord Chakra is so attentive to each goddess in his court that each one of the millions feels completely satisfied. Because of this attention, each goddess feels quite sure, I am the only one who is so honored by the Lord. Lord Chakra's keen attentiveness to each and every goddess is just like his behavior in the hall of wholesome Dharma, where he can all at once display to all his awesome power to speak directly to each hearer without missing any. Lord Chakra still is troubled by greed, hatred, and delusion, and yet he still brings happiness to all in his assembly. Imagine then how those who have perfected every practice will never fail to bring great joy to every living being. The Lord of the sixth heaven can transform the bliss of others because of his self-mastery in the realm where craving reigns. Nets of delusion, of karma, and of suffering are what he uses to ensnare the gods and humans too.
The Lord is still troubled by greed, hatred, and delusion, and yet he has no trouble in controlling multitudes. Imagine then how those who have attained 10 kinds of mastery can teach all living beings how to cultivate the way.
The great Brahma heaven king who rules a billion worlds can, in every single place where Brahma gods reside, suddenly appear right in front of each of them, and with his sonorous voice proclaim the wondrous Brahma songs. Although this former Lord is in the mundane world, his skill and his samadhi let him do just as he pleases. Imagine that how those who tread the Bodhisattva path find ease and comfort, the most profound in all of their samadhis. The great Lord Maheshwara, whose wisdom is supreme, can make a perfect reckoning in just a single thought of every drop of rain that is falling from the sky. By the power of the Dragon King who dwells beneath the sea, consider those whose practices span ages without number, who in that time have realized perfection of the way. Imagine how they are able in every single thought to know what's on the mind of every living creature. The karmic retribution of all the sentient beings stir up a mighty wind that creates the mundane world. All its mountains, immense oceans, and its celestial palaces, its multitudes of germs and the seas of everything. That karma creates clouds that release the cooling rain and causes morning mist to dissolve and fade away. It causes every grain to grow and ripen for the harvest, and brings great peace and happiness to every living being. That karmic wind can never let the peerless parameters, nor can it ever grasp the Buddha's merit or their virtue. And yet the wind brings into being quite extraordinary things. Imagine what can be achieved by those who have made great vows.
The many different voices of the human race, the symphony of birdsong and the cries of beasts, the roar of ocean waves and the peal of distant thunder, all these sounds bring pleasure to the ears of sentient beings.
Imagine then how those who know the nature of all sounds and use unhindered eloquence that is marvelous to hear, as they speak Dharma that responds to every being's need, bring happiness to those abiding in this mundane world. The ocean was a quality that is extremely rare. It can retain an imprint of all the merit things, living in wondrous treasures and swiftly flowing stream. The sea accepts them all, rejecting not a one. Those whose liberations and samadhis are unending can make imprints that are comparable to what the ocean does. Their blessings, virtue, wisdom, and the perfect practice, all are the result of their tireless cultivation. Playfully roaming throughout the great ocean, dragon kings always are free and at ease. They make clouds appear that fill all the skies with luminous forms and radiant displays. The clouds in each heaven appear differently in the sixth. Their appearance is that of pure gold. In transformation once bliss, they appear pearly red, while in the Tushita they are white as the snow.
Clouds in the Suyama are like precious vituria, while transdimensional clouds are red like carnelian. Clouds in the Four Kings are clear as pure crystal, while clouds o'er the seas take on Vajra's hue. Kinara's clouds are fragrant as incense.
In the dragon's sable, clouds are bright as the lotus. Over the Yasha's are clouds white like geese. Ashura's clouds look like great mountain boulders. The clouds of Uttara Guru are the color of golden flames. In Jambudvipa there are clouds like blue-green gems. Above the other continents the clouds are quite magnificent, appearing in response to what beings they admire. In the heaven of self-mastery are thus transformations. The lightning flashes in the clouds are dazzling like the sun, and the bliss by transformation heaven flashes are like moonlight. In the heaven of contentment there are the purple god of Jabu. In the Suyama heaven clouds and lightning are pure white. In the Triastrisha heaven they are the hue of golden flames. In the Four Kings heaven they are the color of rich jewels. Above the boundless oceans they are the color of red pearls. Clouds and lightning are Vajura in the realms of the Kinnaras, where dragons dwell. The clouds of lightning look like precious jewels. In Yasha's realms the clouds and lightning sparkle like pure crystal. In Asura's realms the clouds and lightning are carnelian red. Uttara Purush clouds and lightnings are like fire pearls. Jumbled clouds and lightning are imperial blue. In their outer continents there is a dazzling splendor. In all the myriad colors, the lightning and the clouds, transforming bliss, sense of pure Brahma sound. In one song bliss, thunder beats like a drum. In the Tushita, the music of singing. In the Suyama, a pure maiden's voice.
In the 33 heavens comprising 12 streams shine, thunder resembles the figures of Kinnaras. In the heaven where four kings offer protection, thunder resembles Gandharva's sweet music.
In the sea, thunder claps like mountains colliding. Among the Kinnaras is the sound of a flute. In the city of dragons, coloring curls of sweet songs, while Yakshas hear thunder as a dragon girl's voice. For Asuras, it sounds like a heavenly drum. For humans, the thunder's the roar of the ocean. The sixth heaven is blessed with a rain of sweet fragrance, with profusions of flowers and other enhancements. In transforming one's bliss, tala blossoms rain down, as do blooms of mandara and bombs full of fragrance. In the Tushita heaven, morning jewels shower down, as do manifold gems and exquisite embellishments, while in Shaka's crown a pearl glows like the moon, and his elegant robes are the shades of true God. In Suyama heaven, flags and banners cascade down, as do lavish garlands and ambrosials paste incense, wearing gorgeous garments, the fine color of red pearls. The gods enjoy all sorts of entertaining songs and dances. In the heaven of the 33 wish-fulfilling pearls, dance black aloes wood and sweet chandana incense, turmeric, crocus fronds, and other wondrous floral. Fragrant waters and exquisite blossoms come cascade down. In the city of the world's protectors, delicacies rain down. Nutritious foods that please the sight and smell and taste. A ring of oranges, jewels fall down, crystals, pearls, and coral, beautiful creations which are wrought by dragon kings. Also from within the mighty ocean issue forth heaven downpours without ceasing, like the turning of a wheel.
Endless treasures of gems come pouring down as well, and endowments of great beauty fall like rain upon the earth. In the realms of the Kinnaras, streams of lustrous pearls rain down, as do many colored lotuses and richly patterned garments, all perfumed by clouds of Rashika and Malika blooms, while harmonious and perfect sounds provide accompaniment. In the city of the dragons, priceless red pearls shower down.
In the city of the Yakshas, all the rain is shining money. A great supply of weapons falls upon Asura's realm to help them to subdue and to overcome their enemies. In the continents, Uttara Kuru, necklaces come raining down, as do countless bundles of the most breathtaking flowers. In the continents of Pruvavi, Deha, and Abara Gordania, beautiful adornments shower down abundantly. Over Jamaica falls a rain of clear, pure water, gentle showers bringing moisture to the soil throughout the land. These showers nurture flowers, fruits, and all the healing herbs, and as they spread their moisture, ripening all the sprouts of grain. All these amazing happenings, adornments without number, the drifting clouds, the thunder, the lightning, and the rain, all are made by dragon kings with ease and mastery. While they remain completely impartial and unmoved, these dragon kings inhabit the great oceans of this world, and yet they can display such incredible abilities. Imagine then how those who have explored the sea of Dharma with their virtue and perform vast spiritual transformations. The Bodhisattvas' many ways of finding liberation are past the powers of depiction by analogy. In spite of this, I've used this method of analogies to give the merest hint about their powers of self-mastery.
The Bodhisattva's wisdom is far-reaching and magnificent. Their wisdom is authentic, real, and altogether boundless. Superior and victorious, their wisdom can be fathomed. I have shown you all of this in what you have just heard. This Dharma is multiply rare and quite exceptional. If anyone who's listening can bear what they have heard, can trust in it, accept it, and speak well of it, then they have done what is extremely difficult to do.
All throughout this mundane world, to find a common person who can believe this Dharma would be extremely rare. Anyone who's focused on developing pure blessings relies on causes from the past to generate their faith. Of all the kinds of beings in this ordinary world, there are few who wish to walk the hero's path. Few still are those who seek enlightenment alone, and hardly anyone is found who seeks the Bodhisattva path. Yet choosing the great vehicle is a simple task indeed, compared to just how hard it is believing in this Dharma. And yet more difficult it is to uphold it and explain it, to cultivate the Dharma well and truly understand it. If someone put a galaxy composed of countless worlds atop his head and held it there unmoving for an eon, that achievement would seem simple and unworthy of respect compared to what it takes to believe this wondrous Dharma. And now suppose that someone held 10 Buddha passages while suspended for an aeon in the midst of empty space. That achievement would seem simple and unworthy of respect compared to what it takes to believe this wondrous Dharma.
Suppose that for an eon one gives rare and precious gifts to as many beings as the Mozart does in 10 kshetras. The blessings and the virtue that this generous donor earns cannot compare to what is earned by believing in the Dharma. When worthy leader Bodhisattva finished speaking these verses,
the world of the 10 directions worked in 6 ways. The demons' palaces became hidden, and those in the evil paths were able to rest. The Buddhas of the 10 directions manifested before him, used their right hand to rub the crown of his head, and praised him in unison. Excellent, excellent, we are pleased you have spoken this Dharma. We are all here to rejoice in accord. End of chapter 12. Namo Samanta Bodhana Bolati Hata Chechavani Anchimi Jimi Danta Gata Namo Vasante Bo Devu Damo Damo Danta Gata Namo Vahum Pasa Namo Samanta Bodhana Bolati Hata Chechavani Anchimi Jimi Danta Gata Namo Vasante Bolati Devu Damo Damo Danta Gata Namo Namo Samanta Modona Napola Di Hota Jajara Anjimi Jimi Danta Gata Namo Vasante Bola Di Wuta Moda Modanta Gata Namo Vahopan Saha. Praise for the second assembly. In the universal bright light palace, the great Dharma is widely proclaimed. The Tathagata's names are vast and boundless. The meanings of the four truths are subtle and profound. The Dharma torch eternally shines, a universal offering before the Dharma King. A special dedication. We dedicate the marriage to the successful completion of the wonderful Enlightenment Buddhist Institute construction project. May every living being, our minds as one and radiance with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness or the endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Three bow. Bowed in respect to the Venerable Master. Nam mô Ta Phật Quảng Phổ Hoa Yên Trì Hoa Yên Hải Huệ Phổ